What's up, my favorite people? How's it going? Did you miss me? What's up, guys? It's your boy the Guccino, back with a new video again, and I'm proud of finally making a YouTube video out of one of my best icons ever, and one of the goofiest people on all of Earth, and one of my personal favorites, Mr. Rowan Atkinson. Before we start, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment down below. Come on, I know you can do it. Hit it! Rowan Atkinson is born the 6th January 1955 in Consett, County Durham in England, from parents Eric Atkinson and Ella May. He was brought into the Anglican religion and placed in a preparatory school called Durham Chorister School. And coincidentally, the future Prime Minister of England, Tony Blair, also attended the same school at the same time. And after a few years, he went to St. B's School. He was often bullied for his stuttering in school, and most specifically his looks as well. They will call him the alien face. People and his teachers didn't believe in him that much, but he concentrated on science. And after getting excellent grades in science, he was able to land a scholarship in Newcastle University, where he received a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronic engineering in 1975. And at the same time, he was able to obtain a master's degree in electrical engineering at the Queen's College of Oxford. In August 1976, Rowan Atkinson wins the Oxford Review with his PhD study at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. And at the same time, he already started to write and debuted to perform sketches in Oxford by the Etceteras, the review group of the Experimental Theatre Club, and the Oxford University Dramatic Society. And it's precisely in those university years where his love for comedy started to waken up. And the more he watched, the more he craved. He used to watch Beyond the Fringe by Peter Cook, Dudley Moore, Jonathan Miller, and Alan Bennett. And he states, he adored the work of John Cleese because he finds him, and he states, he was very physical, very physical and very angry. End of quote. He was also very influenced by Peter Sellers, the actor from The Pink Panther, Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, Jack Stotty, and Barry Humphries in Dom Edna Evergy, where he states, I love the character. Again, it's the veneer of respectability disguising suburban prejudice of a really quiet, vicious, and dismissive nature. End of quote. And with all this inspiration, he started to work on his stutterness, and by putting himself into different characters in his mind and representing them, at that point he was perfectly able to speak correctly. He started to get out of his comfort zone way more, and all of that was bringing him more attention into the different characters that he can represent. And in 1979, Rowan Atkinson went through a lot of changes, and that was a golden year that started everything. He performed live on stage skits and appeared in the theatrical play The Secret Policeman's Ball, such as
Ainsley, Babcock, Bland, Carthorse, Dint.
And in 1979, he started in a series of comedy show for the BBC Radio 3 called The Atkinson People. He did a one-off pilot for a London weekend television called Canned Laughter. He performed on the third The Secret Policeman's Ball and gained notoriety from it. And that led him to other roles by performing with Elton John, John Cleese, and Kate Bush. He also appeared on Not the 9 O'Clock News in October 1979, which led him to the lead role. He also appeared on not the 9 o'clock news in October 1979, which led him to the lead role in the BBC mock historical comedy called Blackadder. And after a great debut in the entertainment industry, Rowan Atkinson sees that more people are coming to his shows to look at his style of comedy, his revolutionary style of comedy in a way. And with more training and experience on stage, going in front of different kind of audiences every night basically, he started to polish himself and polish his craft using comical devices such as the articulation of the word B as his pronunciation of Bob. He would say Bob. And with this over articulation, he could compensate for his stutterness in a way, and by getting into those different characters that he's not, obviously. He used to be compared to Buster Keaton in his comedy style, but Atkinson's rely more on dialogue and stand-up comedy based more on a monologue. This talent later led him to be called the man with the rubber face. Later on in 1983, he had a supporting part in James Bond titled Never Say Never Again and a leading role in Dead on Time. Atkinson also co-writes a series called Blackadder, who was set in the medieval period. This show was so good and so liked by all of the audience that they made Blackadder 2 in 1986. Then after that, Blackadder 3 in 1987, and then Blackadder the 4th in 1989, and then last but not least, Blackadder the 5th in 1999, and all of that with more specials here and there about Christmas and all that stuff. And personally, this was one of the best entertainment shows growing up that everybody used to watch at the same time, and you used to laugh so hard at his style of comedy on TV. In 1984, Atkinson appeared in a West End version of the comedy play The Nerd alongside a 10-year-old Christian Bale. And by the end of the 80s, he meets Sunatra Sastry, and they get married in February 1990. And they have 2 beautiful children. And also, he wins an Oscar with a short film called The Appointments of Dennis Jennings. Then finally in 1990, after many years of training and experience and perfecting his craft, Mr. Bean appeared on New Year's Day in a half-hour special on Thomas Television. And it was an instant hit because, and I quote, "The essence of Mr. Bean is that he's entirely selfish and self-centered and doesn't actually acknowledge the outside world. He's a child in a man's body, which is what most visual comedians are about. Stan Laurel, Chaplin, Benny Hill." End of quote. And in that same year, he also appeared in many other shows, for example, like The Witches, and also as a racing driver in the television play called Full Throttle. Generally in between the first half of the 90s, Rowan Atkinson appeared in many things such as The Hot Shots Part 2, a parody of Rambo 3, The 4 Weddings and a Funeral in 1994, The Lion King with the voice of Zazu, and he mostly made many episodes of the Mr. Bean show, which led him to make a Mr. Bean movie in 1997, and then a second one called Mr. Bean's Holiday in 2007. An animated version of the show also made in 2014 that extended into 5 series until 2019 worldwide. And with Mr. Bean's fame and perfect acting, he acted in more and more plays such as The Curse of the Fatal Death in 1999, and of course more movies and TV shows like The Thin Blue Line in between 1995 and 1996. Then comes 2000s, and Rowan Atkinson is at the top of his craft. He starts to be in more and more mainstream movies and TV shows, and his notoriety as one of the best comedians of our era is only but building up and up and up. Through the 2000s, he appears in Rat Race, Scooby-Doo, Love Actually, Keeping Mom, and he played in the West End revival of the musical Oliver. In 2001, Atkinson is on holiday going to Kenya. But going there, he was in his private jet with his pilot, and the pilot fainted for some reason. And Atkinson had at that point to take the rein and keep the plane up until the pilot comes out of his state of sickness or whatever happened to him. Damn, Rowan. Respect. Could you imagine his stress level at that point though? Not good. And in 2003, he started his first parody of James Bond called Johnny English. The movie was so successful that it was followed by a second one in 2011 and then a third one in 2018. Rowan Atkinson is a big fanatic of cars. He owned a Honda NSX, an Audi A8, a Skoda Superb, and a Honda Civic Hybrid. With that, he also owned a McLaren F1 that he crashed many times. And from the damages of one of the accidents, it was recorded that it was the largest sum insurance had to pay for the repairs of a car. And they paid literally £910,000. He also crashed another car in 2001, and this one was an Aston Martin V8 Zagato, while racing in the Aston Martin Owners Club. And he hates Porsches with passion. It's incredible. He also appeared in an episode of Top Gear in July 2011, driving a Kia, and he did the track in 1 minute 42 seconds. In 2012, Mr. Bean appears at the Summer Olympics opening ceremony in a funny comedy sketch, and in that same year, in November, Rowan Atkinson got sick of his same old character and says, and I quote, "The stuff that has been most commercially successful for me, basically quite physical, quite childish. I increasingly feel I'm going to do a lot less. Apart from the fact that your physical ability starts to decline, I also think someone in their 50s being childlike becomes a little sad. You've got to be careful." End of quote. But then, in between 2014 and 2019, Rowan would reappear on TV, say that he's basically quitting being Mr. Bean, and a few moments later he would reappear as Mr. Bean in something like a TV commercial or a movie, for example. He did a TV commercial with Snickers back in 2014, and then he reappeared in a Chinese film called Huan Li Chi Zhu Ten, and he was reappearing as Mr. Bean in that movie as well, and also in a commercial for Emirati. Then in 2013, he took a titular role in a 12-week production of the Simon Gray play, and in that same year, at the age of 58 years old, he began an affair with a 32-year-old comedian called Louise Ford, and he started the separation process from his current wife to finally divorce in 2015 and be with Louise Ford, which he has a kid with right now. Overall, Rowan Atkinson had a very fulfilling life in the entertainment industry and in his personal life as well, overcoming everything he had to overcome and more, to the point where right now currently he is the maestro of the silent comedy genre. In October 2018, Atkinson received YouTube's Diamond Play button for his channel, surpassing 10 million subscribers on the video platform, among the most watched channels in the world in 2018, with more than 6.5 million views. And in April 2023, he stars in Wonka from the novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Guess everybody knows already. Rowan Atkinson is a legend, and Mr. Bean is an icon. Thank you for many years of laughter, and hopefully many more to come in the future. I will leave you all with all of his links back in the description below. This was the story of Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson. Thank you for watching until the end. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell. All of it. Yeah. And also feel free to Go and follow me on all my socials. They're down below in the description. Thank you, my lord.